Hey friends, welcome to day 3 of our Cycle Sync Your Biz live stream series. I'm so excited to dive into the summer phase of your cycle and the energy around ovulation today, personally. So I'm on day 12 of my cycle, which means that I'm going through some pretty intense spring energy. So everything I talked about in the last video about how the energy surge that comes back after your period, for that week after your period, when you're starting to get a lot more creativity, you're starting to get a lot more energy, and you're just full of ideas, and it's a great time to start something new, all of that. That's what I'm personally going through right now. So if my energy is coming off as a little like, wah, that's why I'm just buzzing, freaking buzzing. So as a review, before we dive in, we've been talking about the 4 inner seasons of your cycle, and these are energetic seasons. So they're correlated to the physiological phases of your menstrual cycle, your hormone cycle. And I just love putting them into seasons because it makes sense to me. It's super creative and fun, and I don't know, it just makes a lot of sense. So, and again, the easiest way to tell what season you're in is to track your cycle. It's pretty simple. You have to look back and think back to the first day of your last period. So the first day that you start actually bleeding, that's going to be day 1 of your cycle. And we're going to dive into the winter menstrual phase on Friday. It's super, super juicy. But that's day 1. And then you just simply track your days from there. There's a lot of different apps you can use. I personally love the app MyFlo, FLO. It'll tell you what season or what phase you're in, and also some self-care tips, energy tips, what kind of sex is best for you, and all the things, what foods you should be eating, what workouts you should be doing to support your hormones and support your energy in each phase. That's a really fun tool to get to know your cycle. But again, it all comes down to you. We're all unique. Our bodies are all different. Every month might be a little different for you. So at the end of the day, this is an embodied practice. It's a practice because it's a practice. It's not something you're going to master. It's a journey. It's an adventure of getting to know your body. And it's so fun, so powerful, and a really great self-care and awareness and confidence tool. So yesterday we talked about spring, or the follicular phase. Today we're going to dive into the inner season of summer, which is around peak, like the middle of your cycle, around the time that you ovulate. So hormonally, what's happening in your body is your follicles are releasing an egg to be fertilized if you're trying to get pregnant, and your hormones are kind of surging and peaking at this time. So I made a handy dandy little chart because I love having a visual. So here's the 4 seasons. So yesterday we talked about spring, denoted by this beautiful flower. And so think of this as a circle of energy. So here's winter down here. So this is when you're bleeding on your period. Your physical energy is going to be at its lowest down here. But as your hormones kick back in, as you go through your spring phase, so the winter phase is roughly around days 1 to 6, 1 to 7 of your cycle, kind of as long as you're bleeding, as long as you feel more inward focused and withdrawn. Your spring phase is roughly approximately day 7 to day 14-ish, with lots of wiggle room depending on your body. So like I said, this is where I'm at right now. This is when your physical energy is rising. So if you're into the yin and the yang kind of way of thinking about energy, down in winter, this is like all yin, all inner energy. And then your yin is decreasing, and your yang energy, this like fiery, external driven energy, is increasing in your spring. Increasing, rising. And then you get to summer with the sun, and you'll notice the circle kind of pauses at the top. And so this is what I want you to notice. Down here, there's a pause at the bottom. It's like taking an exhale. Down here, you can think of it as breathing in. And this is like the space between breaths at the top of your inhale up here. And this is summer. Summer, ovulation, fullness of energy. There's going to be a little bit of a pause here. So this is the way that your energy goes. It's dynamic. It rises. You kind of like pause at the top, and then you exhale, and your energy goes back down inward through your autumn until you start bleeding again. And I really love thinking of it as this yin yang, and also inhale, exhale. So around the time of summer, think about if you live in the Northern Hemisphere, or you're like me, I live in Chicago. If you think about summer, I think of hot weather. I think about Just everyone wants to live outside. Everyone is super social. There's tons of travel, tons of things happening, but we have summer Fridays. We take vacation. We probably end up doing a ton of work, but ultimately we crave just a season of celebration, of just being, of spending time with our friends and family, having fun, just enjoying our lives. It's like this very open, really peaceful and calm, yet vibrant energy. And that's the same with your physiology in your summer phase around ovulation. You're gonna feel like Superwoman. This is when you're gonna be the most emotionally stable. This is gonna be when you're the most physically vibrant. You're gonna have the most physical energy probably. So you can really, really push yourself to your edge during this season. And this is super, super cool because this balances out in terms of business, in terms of personal growth and expanding your comfort zone. You know, I know that we all want to find our edge and you want to just show up and go full out and expand. So this is the time to really go for it. Find your edge, go past your edge, push yourself, just really show up and be present. Another really cool thing is physiologically, hormonally, with your brain chemistry, you're going to be magnetic during this phase. You can think of it evolutionarily, whatever the word is, as this is the time when your fertility is at its peak. So you might even notice, if you're not on birth control, you might notice your cervical fluid, aka discharge, might be like egg white, stretchy. That's called like your fertile fluid, your fertile phase. And so your body is in let's make a baby mode. This is why your sex drive, your libido is going to be the highest probably at this time. You are going to be very attractive. You're going to just have this open, radiant energy, and people are going to be subconsciously attracted to you if you really embody this phase. And obviously this is really cool for your business or for work because you're going to be able to communicate clearly what you're doing. This is a time for communication, for attraction, for networking, for selling, for launching, for just putting yourself out there, for doing live videos, for doing client calls, for doing prospect calls, for doing presentations, for going on trips, for just like really going past your comfort zone and living to your fullest. So really embody this and trust that you're going to be magnetic. Trust that you're going to be able to communicate very clearly what's on your heart, what you're trying to sell, what you're trying to create, and trust that this is going to land with your audience, with the perfect soul level people who are meant to work with you or who are meant to engage with you in your business and your work. Just trust it. Go with the flow. And another cool thing is if we're thinking about the archetypes of our cycle. So like I said in your spring phase, last video, the spring archetype is the maiden or the little girl. So we're embodying the little girl energies of playfulness, creativity. In your summer phase, the archetype is the mother. And regardless of whether or not you have kids, it's because as females, as women, we are all mothers. We all create, we're all part of this process of creation. We all ovulate, we all create life, whether or not you have a kid. And so your mothering energy is going to be very outward focused. So you might be so busy taking care of other people during this phase that your self-care goes on the back burner and you just like don't have time for meditating, don't have time for groundedness. You're just focused on other people and serving and being of service and showing up for others, which can be also really powerful and really awesome. You just have to be really careful that you're not pouring out all of your own energy. Remember to always put your own oxygen mask on first. And so that is the one, not pitfall or drawback, but the one thing to really be aware of and look out for during the season is don't overextend yourself. So don't feel overwhelmed. Don't make too many promises you can't keep. Try not to let, this is a quote from one of my favorite books, Wild Power. They say, try not to let your summer superwoman, inner superwoman, set your agenda or be in control of your calendar or your social agenda, because you're going to want to say yes to everything during this phase. Make sure that you're also saying yes to yourself, okay? Because your energy is not going to be at this peak state forever. It is going to go back down like this. And so if you say yes to all the things, when your energy is super high, that means that when you get into autumn, you're just going to be like, oh shit, I need hermit mode, and you're going to burn out. So pace yourself, really focus on your priorities and just like one project that you really want to work on or one thing you really want to launch or promote. And remember to take care of yourself too. Remember that self-care is not selfish, it's selfless, because when you take care of yourself, you'll be able to show up more fully for others. So let me think. I think that's what I wanted to say. This is also a great time for pushing it in your workouts because you're going to have the energy. Yeah, just go for it. So, I wanted to chat a little bit about how to manage this high superwoman energy without going into overwhelm paralysis. Because for me personally, sometimes when I have so many things going on, I get overwhelmed and then I just like get paralyzed because I don't even know how to prioritize or what to focus on. So just be aware of this. And again, carving out time for self-care, like journaling in the morning, doing a brain dump, getting clear on your priorities for the day. I also really love using a timer. I just recently got this, I don't have it on me, this Cube timer. It's just like a little timer for like a productivity hack to set boundaries. Set your boundaries. I love setting 3 main priorities for the week to focus on. And then every single day I choose 3 to-do items and everything else is just a bonus. So just work with yourself to figure out what you need to do to set your boundaries so that you're not overextending yourself. So you're also spending time on you. So yeah, live full throttle. Summer, yay, woo, superwoman. So if you can't tell, all of this work, all this cycle awareness stuff it takes time and it takes a lot of practice and a lot of, just a lot of practice and probably like the rest of your pre-menopausal life to figure this out. And if you're on birth control and you are using the phases of the moon, you can probably guess the phase of the moon that corresponds to summer is the full moon. Full moon, fullness, great time to set intentions or celebrate your intentions and just hold all that really powerful energy. And remember that you do have the capacity to hold it all. So that's the phase of the moon. So if you want to practice this and really dive deep and have some support and guidance and all of this stuff really intrigues you, I am, as I've mentioned, launching my group program, Wild Synchronicity. We're going to start September 24th. It's going to go for 12 weeks. It's going to be an immersive deep dive with a small, intimate group of women, and we're going to put all this in practice. And the way I've structured the program is the first half, so the first 4 to 6 weeks, we're going to be really focused on tuning into our bodies, journaling, tracking, really learning about ourselves, our energy, doing all the background work on feminine versus masculine energy, really clearing any emotional blocks or any mental blocks or limiting beliefs we have or any imbalances we have that are holding us back. And just, it's going to be more of a personal deep dive. We're going to have weekly group calls, and I'm going to have a weekly module, audio, video, as well as written out transcript, however you like to learn. And then we'll come together for a group call to share where we're at and get some one-on-one coaching. And then the second half of the program, so the second 6 to 8 weeks, are going to be integration. So we're going to take everything we've learned about ourselves, and I'm going to teach you how to really navigate all of these inner seasons and how to apply what you've learned to your unique business, wherever you're at in whatever stage of business or work or life. And that is going to be super powerful because it's going to create a new framework for you to really learn how to trust yourself, really learn how to use yourself, your own inner wisdom as your guide, as your own mentor, as your own guru, as your own coach. And this is going to shift the way that you show up for yourself, for your family, for your business, for your life. You're just going to feel whole. I can't explain it. It's like coming home to yourself and unlocking what it means to be you. It's so powerful, so amazing. I just finished a beta round this summer with a few women. They said that everyone should do this, that you really just have to experience it. There was a photographer in the group, a couple coaches. One woman was on birth control and she still loved it. So you can still do it on birth control, but it's a great way. If you're thinking about coming off the pill, it's also a really great practice. Start tuning into your body and healing your hormones before you come off the pill. It's going to make your transition so much better. So ultimately, this is about really pouring into yourself. And I know we're all busy. I know fall's a really crazy time. And that's another thing I love about the way I've designed this program is it's a lifestyle integration process. So yes, you're going to be learning, and yes, we're going to have group calls, but a lot of it is just going to fit into your existing life, and you're probably going to end up having more time and more energy because I'm going to teach you how to systemize and structure your life and business so that you can leverage your energy at each season and kind of compartmentalize what you do so you set yourself up for success. You're not trying to do all the things all the time. You're creating this flow, this system that feels really good. And what if your business is more seasonal? Like if you're a photographer, you're someone where it comes in waves. It's not like you can't work when you're on your period, or when you're more inward focused, but it's more about learning the self-care tools that you can apply during each phase to really take care of yourself and give yourself what you need so that you can show up for the things that you don't have control over in a more powerful way. It's just transformative. It's so much fun. So if you feel called to learn more about this, please reach out to me and let's chat. I am going to extend the early bird pricing for this program until Friday. So get in touch with me and let's chat about it. There's a 3-month payment plan. I've also created a 5-month payment plan, which I think is less than $250 a month. I want this to be affordable, but I also want this to be an investment in you because you are going to be showing up and transforming pretty much every aspect of your life using your cycle and your business as a navigational tool. It's just so cool. I also am going to offer, just for this group and just for those of you who are watching this video series, I'm going to add a bonus if you enroll by Friday, or let's just say the end of the weekend with the early bird rate. I'm going to bonus you a 90-minute one-on-one session with me where we're going to deep dive. It'll be a full-on life coaching session, a big overview. This is a $375 value. We will really deep dive into all the different facets of your life and get clarity on what's blocking you, what's holding you back, and release some fear, do some mindset work, and really set a foundation for you to show up and really shine this fall as we move into this new chapter, new season. So that's available for the next 5 women who enrolled the early bird by the end of the weekend. Again, reach out, message me. I want to chat more about this if it's something that you're interested in, to see if it's a good fit, because I know it is probably nothing like you've ever done before. So I'm here to answer all of your questions. I also, as part of the program, I'm going to be sending you some books, 3 of my favorite books that you're going to choose as your course materials that'll help you learn more about feminine energy, cycle syncing. I have a list of books that you can choose 3 from based on where you're at right now. So you get something in the mail as well, which is super fun. So stay tuned for tomorrow. We're going to be diving into the autumn season, AKA the Wild Woman, PMS energy. This is my favorite season to talk about. It is very, very, just really juicy and fun. Talking about inner critic, talking about just like unleashing our shadow side, tapping into that darker side of ourselves that we sometimes hide, and leveraging our energy for good. So stay tuned. If you have any questions about any of this, reach out. If you want to chat about wild synchronicity, reach out. I can't wait for what's next. Have a wonderful, wonderful, fantastic rest of your day.